Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I am Templar, and today we are going to be talking about the ancient Celtic kingdom of Frenla. Now, it is stated though that Frenla was an ancient Celtic kingdom to the far east. However, it's stated that it was forgotten in history and disappeared over time. It was stated that this kingdom was supposedly spoken about by many people or many cultures, such as ancient Rome, ancient Greece, such as the time of Alexander, and as well Persia, Russia, Mongols, and Turks, and including even the Ottomans. It was even stated that this ancient kingdom was actually not what you might call a kingdom, but a confederacy of kingdoms, of which was actually established by the Celtic people. Now, this is actually a really impressive one. In fact, it's actually been stated that these people were of red-haired descendants, and of which wore ring-like objects around their necks, and mainly used chariot and excluding cavalry warfare in order to fight their enemies time and time again. Now, why does that actually explain Celtic? Well, think about it. Red hair, and as well also with an object around their neck, a ring-like object. That describes a Celtic torque. In fact, there is this object here, as you can see, actually from the said region of the two regions of the Caucasus, out of which this said kingdom was actually established. It was stated that this so-called kingdom established itself in this said region. In fact, there was an ancient poem about it that was established by two great oceans, two great mountains, and far fields to the north of the northern mountain range, of which established of how massive its great kingdom was. Now, as I stated though, this kingdom was not exactly a kingdom. In fact, it was a multiple of kingdoms conjoined together of Celtic kingdoms. So in doing so, this was more of like a confederacy of kingdoms. And in doing so, kind of like what we might call the Roman Republic, or including so the ancient Greece when it came to its own form of democracy. However, this form of government was controlled by said chieftains, who pretty much were all conjoined together, meaning if they all fight together, then they completely stand together in peace. Now, where does this land lie? Well, it's stated to have lied somewhere near between the two mountain regions of the Greater and Lower Caucasus, and as well in southern Russia, Georgia, and Azkaban, which is kind of incredible of how massive this great kingdom was. However, it's stated to have probably been established sometime during the early to mid-Bronze Age period. However, we're still not clear on when it might have actually been established at that time. However, it is stated though that this kingdom did establish itself beyond any measure, and of which actually treated all as equals, and of which they were stated to have actually, this kingdom had actually major trading powers with the Far East and West, mainly with Rome and including with the people of China, and of which this was one region that the Romans never truly managed to conquer. As well, it's even been stated that the Celts of this land actually were stated to have fought off against massive armies from the Persian empires of the timeline, as well even the Byzantine Empire, and later on even against the Turks, and as well Islamic invasions. However, it is stated though that this kingdom actually did not have one major religion, even though it was stated to have actually adopted Hinduism, Christianity, Islam, and as well even also the following of Buddhism and as well Hinduism, as well also keeping a firm grip on its old ancient pagan beliefs. In fact, there was even stated to have been the Tower of Understanding, mainly that which would have been supposedly placed sometime in the area of the said region. In fact, this type of a district was actually an area that all religions could have actually talked about their faiths. And as well, many of them actually were stated to have actually had a major peace proposal between them. In fact, there was stated to have been a massive road between the said region, and of which we can understand this. Now, in doing so, the two oceans are technically the two seas, known as the Caspian Sea and the Black Sea, and of which actually do help out. Now, also, as we can understand, the two, and as well the wide fields are the fields probably north of the Greater Caucasus. Now, this actually explains everything about them. However, the thing is, we only discovered major roots about them. However, we still don't know what actually happened to this ancient kingdom. In fact, it was stated that while fighting against other cultures, it was stated to have actually fully subdued by none other than the Mongols in the 1200s, mainly because of the factual reason it actually had been conquered because of the Mongols using their own form of nomadic warfare. It was stated that as soon as they conquered the said region, they actually became vassal states, or in this case, a type of group that were technically, well, allying themselves with the said group. However, it was stated, though, that Genghis Khan had actually allowed them to rule their kingdom under him, but however, it was stated, though, that a governor later on took control, mainly from the region of the Mongol hordes. However, it was stated, though, that he had actually caused problems for the said region, which later on revolted. It was stated that Genghis Khan asked why they would do such a thing, of actually rebelling in the first place, but in truth, they actually explained the following, that the governor that was given to them was nothing more than a greedy man trying to take the Khanship for his own. The Khan later on was stated to have actually had the man beheaded, and as well life and justice prevailed over time. However, by the fall of the Mongols' empire, it was actually stated that the Celtic region of the said Furlan kingdoms actually fully established themselves again as their own type of confederacy. However, it was stated, though, as soon as this had happened, sometime around the 1500s, the Ottomans later on tried to come around and as well tried to conquer the said region. Unfortunately, they only conquered the lower lands of the Caucasus. In other words, south of the Great Caucasus, and of which most of the Celtic lands were lost. However, it was stated that by the 1800s, Russia later on came around and as well conquered the land itself, conquering the last of the northern regions, and in doing so, destroying the last of the ancient Celtic region. It was stated by this time the Celts had actually lost their kingdom and as well their identity itself. In fact, pretty much the original form it once looked more of like what it once was from the ancient Celtic lands. However, by the late period of the fall of the One Roman Empire, it was stated to have adopted mostly a lot of Persian military warfare in armor and equipment, and of which, in the process, it no longer looked as one it once was. Many of the said hill forts were demolished over time, and as well eroded over time, and as well the major regions behind them were all destroyed, including their great trading network between the seas and the roads, and as well this ancient kingdom lost to history. However, it was stated, though, that while the fall of this great kingdom, it was stated that it would actually establish the longest living dynasty of kingdoms that were actually established by the Celtic kingdoms, from the ancient Bronze Age to technically into modern day. So technically it was its own free kingdom until its fall in the 1800s. Still to this day, though, we don't know anything about them, seeing as though most of their information is technically written down by foreign scholars, mainly by Romans, Greeks, Persians, and including the Ottomans. The Mongols, on the other hand, stated that it was a great kingdom itself. However, they did not know anything of the language they spoke mostly. Thank you all for watching, guys. Hopefully you liked this video. Let me know in the comments below if you wanted me to talk about anything more about Celtic History Month. And hopefully you guys can actually capture more of these videos later on. As well, guys, also check out our Facebook, and as well I will leave links down below of information about the other said kingdoms, and of which hopefully it holds parts of this history in it. Anyways, guys, this has been Templar. Have a great day.